Hello, and welcome back for episode 46 of Animus Absentis. I'm really curious to see what type of problem solving happens tonight, given the events of last session, where our crew kind of got strong-armed into working for the GPF. They are the Galactic Police Force, and they are not the good guys. So this is going to be interesting. Before we jump in, though, I'm going to say a quick word about sponsors, and then let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll hop into it. Sponsors. There we go. Got the links into chat. The first one being Fundamental RPG. It's the system that this game runs on. The book looks like this. You can pick up your own copy at Amazon, or if you like the digital version instead of the physical version, you can get that at coffee.com/raven, like it's spelled in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Yeah, it's a simple D20 system that runs everything from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between, and highly recommend picking up a copy. Also at that same website, coffee.com/raven, you can pick up Intrepid gear, which is adventuring gear for real life, accessories and drinkware and apparel and cool things like that with a tabletop theme to them. Go check it out, see if there's something that you like, pick up an item. And then finally, Die Hard Dice, which they sell incredible metal and polymer dice on their website, as well as accessories and dice adjacent products. They sent me recently this really cool Spellbinder Fey Queen set. It's a metal set of dice, and they are my favorite dice, which is saying something considering how many dice I have in my dice bag. You can pick up your own set at dieharddice.com using the code BlackFeatherJune, all one word, capital B, capital J. You can get 10% off your entire order. And then finally, if you want to catch up on this show or others on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network. And with that, we'll go to the top left with Jay. Tell us a little bit about Sparky and yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay. I'm a game dev and a role player. You can find me on Twitch and itch.io under Alien Jays. And tonight I'm playing Sparky, who, how to describe Sparky in a sentence. Panicked Chihuahua, prone to exploding things and occasionally getting stuff done. They've frequently been at the heart of some of the crazier schemes that we've done, and they're usually the one to tap when you need something solved, though not in a calm manner.
That's very fair. Awesome. Next we've got V. Tell us a little bit about Annie and yourself.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am an artist. I work primarily in watercolor and pencil sketch, as well as digital art. And if you'd like to take a look at any of my work, you can certainly do so. I have an art Twitter, which is at Pepero Draws, and that's Pepero like the candy, just there below my name card. And I play Annie, and she is, she's kind of like space anonymous, I guess, like a Robin Hood character. But rather than stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, she steals from the rich and sells to the less rich, while keeping a little chunk for herself. So not exactly totally kind-hearted, but she's got this spirit. She is a tall lady. She's got pink hair and lovely space buns. And she also has her little brother with her, Liam, who is on the ship as a crewmate. And she now has her memories back. She's the only member of the crew who wanted to take the serum and figure out who she used to be. So now she is blessed with the glorious burden of knowing everything at once. But yeah, that's Annie.
Awesome. Next we would normally have Canned Chaos Art. Alex couldn't make it tonight, but definitely give them a follow over on Twitter. They make really cool art. And they normally play Seattle, who is Daisy's dad and the engineer for the ship, and also throws a lot of crazy shenanigans into the mix. And then next we've got Goody. Tell us a little bit about Captain and yourself.
Hi, I play Captain. Captain is an android, and as the name implies, the captain of the ship. She is a Black Ops murder droid, which is great. That's fun. but she mostly is just trying to figure out how to deal with these humans, and it's going. She's space mom at this point, and she did not ask to be. She did not ask to be captain either, but she's making it work for her as best she can. But yeah, that's about it for me.
All right, awesome. Sorry, I just put a piece of candy in my mouth. That was bad timing. I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related. My link tree is there in chat, or if you're on the Fantasy Network and can't see that, it is linktr.ee/theraven. And like it's spelled below my face here. And then, yeah, I play everybody else in the galaxy, including Seth, Liam, and Daisy, who are 3 crew members on the ship, all of them older teenagers. And yeah, when we left off last week, you got away from the GPF. They let you go. I think you had located the tracker program, like the tracker and like comms bug and all that, on the ship, but weren't eager to try disabling it just yet. What do you want to do?
Yeah. This is just meta, so I as a player can remember. Were we planning on making it look like we were stealing someone else's ship after agreeing with that person that we would buy their ship from them? Was that the idea?
I
think the idea. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I thought it was gonna be we were gonna like buy a ship or like hire someone to quote unquote steal our ship.
Oh, okay, I got the order of operations switched around. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I could be confused too. Who knows?
Yeah, that was it. Have somebody buy the ship that you want, and then have them quote unquote steal the ship, and then you take theirs.
Right. Okay. I'm now realizing that plan may have some hinks in it. For one, the cops will get involved, and then they may ask us, why were we in possession of a hot ship that was now stolen?
Yeah, like, I think they would notice pretty quickly if we...
Yeah.
But we do need to get a new ship, regardless. Ours is just getting thrashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is not inadequate, but it is not adequate for what we need it for.
I feel like Daisy might also suggest, like, quote unquote selling it to someone that deserves to get in trouble. And just don't go to mentioning the fact that there's a GPF tracker on it.
That is definitely an option.
Who do we dislike that much that would actually buy from us?
I was gonna say
that's a good question.
Until you said who would buy from us, I had at least one option, but because no company would touch it.
No
reputable company would touch it.
We don't know any disreputable companies, though. Not personally.
I mean, not like it would be hard to find them.
True.
I mean, we could take it to like a chop shop, but like at the same time, then the GPS can again come to us and be like, "Why are you doing this?" And
right.
be like,
now they would still have to find us again if we ditch the ship, because they wouldn't have like a tracker on us. I mean, the only way they actually pinned us down was because they had Tolan and they dragged us into a net.
Yep.
So it's a hell of a conundrum.
But now they know where to look for us.
True. Very true.
Also, Radek had been tailing you for quite a while, and
fucking, I forgot about Radek and his little single person ship. Oh. I don't know what that
probably should have nuked that bitch out of the sky.
We probably should have. No one tells us that is a good person, so.
Lily's dad is a gem.
Noted. In future, we'll just shoot whoever's following us.
That's a hell of a conversation for Daisy to have. Hey, about your dad.
Yeah.
We nuked him out of the sky.
He's gonna be late for dinner because he's dead.
So, am I invited to Thanksgiving or like?
Is that gonna make things awkward?
Would that be weird? Is your mom like dating anyone right now?
Oh my god. Got any backups in mind? Shit. So what's Annie got to say on this? Or Annalise, I should say.
Good question. I don't know. I right there with you guys. Not quite sure where to go with this one either.
Would Annie's friend have any ideas, perhaps? Might he know of someone?
Well, she does have access to her entire book now. So, Raven, what do you think? Does Annie have any contacts in there that can, if not buy it themselves, because why would they want to, but point us in the direction of someone that we can pin that sucker on?
So you're specifically looking for someone that will tell you who to sell the ship to. Is that right?
I guess, yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's do a skill roll. Let's go with you have your memories back now, so let's go with education to know which of these contacts would be the best one to talk to.
22.
22, okay.
Do you think that I could add my information broker stat to it, since I am dealing with contacts? And this is information that I'm trying to get from them?
I'm going to say
Would
no
I
for
argue?
this part, but when you talk to people, yes.
Okay.
But with the 22, you narrow down one contact that you kind of remember dealt with kind of like hired mercenary crews that they weren't particularly loyal to, and they might be able or willing to put you in touch with someone of an unsavory sort that you could offload the ship onto.
Okay. Annie would let them know that that's an option. The crew, I mean.
Okay.
I think Sparky would jump on it. Like, I don't think we have any other good options. Like, we have okay options, but most of them involve the feds finding out real quick.
Just as a few reminders of things, just in case people have forgotten. One, you do know that the ship's transmitter is tapped, so any communication off the ship, the GPS is going to be listening into. So you will need to go somewhere where you can make contact without using it.
We need a payphone.
Essentially, yeah. Or you need to
that
disconnect.
satellite phone we have.
Right. I forgot about the satellite phone.
The satellite phone?
We set
The
one up
one
for Matt and Sonia.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, not to talk over you.
No, you're good. If you have one on the ship, I believe that's still going through the ship's transmitter, but you could easily like take that and hook it into a different transmitter and you'd be fine. Or disabling the GPS tech on your ship, which you know is a
What
really,
was the
really
number
high
last time?
It's a 60 is the DC for that.
Yeah,
Um,
Daisy was like a maybe.
Daisy was like,
So-
maybe. Not likely, but maybe. And it's also like an automatic crit fail if you don't succeed because of the nature of the situation.
kind of feel like that's like a last ditch option.
There are things you can do which would lower the DC. So that is another option. Maybe if you got some assistance with said task. So that's an
I think
option. Or
Good, sorry.
taking the
I'll
shuttle
finish.
potentially to another location to try and communicate with someone, and then coming back to the ship is another option. As far
That
as
could
you know,
work.
they didn't do anything to the shuttle.
Or I think Sparky would be posing this to the crew. Okay, Lisa's on the same board with me. I didn't even look at chat.
Yeah.
What if I feel like Captain
Zoom chat
and
closed.
Sparky,
Open that.
I feel like we're both looking at each other like, what if we just blow up the ship?
Fake our deaths.
It worked the first time, and they kind of like they pointed themselves like, I mean, their scanners couldn't pick me up.
Will I need to remove a toe?
I think the ship is the toe, but maybe. I mean, we might have to fake our deaths like I did, but I don't think a toe is gonna do it for you, Cap. Sorry.
Daisy chimes in and says, well, an explosion like that, most of like human bodies would just be vaporized. But yeah, they'd be looking for the captain's body. We do have those spare androids. Maybe I could
That's what I'm
tweak
thinking.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if
Tweak
they
one of
don't
them.
know what kind of android she is, she just looks like an android. A little weird, but nothing that they can't tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without like a full scan.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, on Animus, when all else fails, we just resort to blowing shit up.
I mean,
I
it's
mean, it
worked so well
works.
for you in the
It's
past.
why fix what ain't blown up?
Blow
great
it up
American
or crash
dream.
a shuttle into it.
Fake your own death, move to a new city.
Yep. Okay. There is another idea that Sparky would put forward, which is we could get someone to get in a gunfight with us and possibly damage the transmission thing. I mean, it might send them running, but then they would come and find our blown up ship.
I can think of somebody who would probably pretty willingly do that.
Oh, do tell.
Well, I was thinking that maybe,
Do some people call him Maurice?
yeah, some people do call him Maurice. Wow, wow.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. He does seem to be on our side. Ish.
That might be overstating it a bit, but
He does seem to not want to kill us.
But you would get to get that aggression out of his system.
Yep. And then he could tell his cartel boss that we're dead, because we don't really have any other, like, do we have any business with the cartel?
Outside of Rit? Other than the children we've stolen from them, no. I don't think so.
I think the statute of limitation passed on that.
There's a statute. There's like a 3-month statute of limitation on missing kids. They're like, yeah, fuck them, kids.
Happens too often, you know. They had to put new rules in. I mean, they had a whole camp. Let's be real.
Yeah, true. But officer, my son could still be out there somewhere.
Listen, we got a couple on discount if you want to have a look.
You ever thought about like a therapy horse?
I thought you were just doing a full non sequitur. I didn't realize you were still continuing the bit. I was like, no, Lisa, I don't think I have thought about one, but now I'm seriously considering. Also, Raven, what's going on in the background there? What are you rolling for?
Yeah, with,
Don't
You
worry
know we can
about it.
actually see what those are for now.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
That may or may not be Daisy that I'm rolling for.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty
It's actually
clearly
concerning.
labeled.
I think all the characters come from that one. I don't know.
Depends on who it is and what they're doing, but sometimes, yeah, I'll just use Daisy stats because
Yeah,
they're
that's fair.
similar to what I'm looking for,
That's fair.
instead of making like a gajillion character sheets.
We do have a lot of NPCs.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay, so how do we contact Rip from like a payphone or otherwise? We don't really have his number.
He's got yours.
True. If only we had let Seattle get his number.
Seth chimes in at that point and is like, we could just go raise some hell at a cartel base. Rip would probably show up.
Didn't he tell us to explicitly stay out of that stuff?
When have we ever listened to what we've been told to do?
No, well, yeah, but wouldn't he be less willing to go along with the plan if we did all that just to get his attention? Wouldn't he show up, like, ready to kill us?
I mean, yeah. Aren't we wanting him to blow up the ship?
Yeah,
But with us prepared and not on it.
like
Right.
a
That's
plan.
right. That would be a kink in the plan. I can't come up with all the ideas.
Captain's just gonna stare at him.
Sorry, who was saying it? Seth or Liam?
Seth.
Okay. I think Sparky's
I
probably
don't know.
trying
I'm
to
just
count through,
throwing out
like,
ideas,
what plans has Seth come up with?
What if would Annalise be able to use the what's their name? The weird hacker group?
The Trash Pandas?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Trash Pandas.
Well, Annie does have the contact that she's already mentioned.
Hmm.
Yeah. Would they be able to taunt Rip out of hiding?
Sorry, my Zoom froze. Annie has contact for what?
Trash Pandas.
I'm talking about potentially getting the Trash Pandas to help with this conundrum, I think.
Her Zoom might have frozen again.
Gotcha. No, I heard it that time. We're
Okay.
good.
Were you saying get the Trash Pandas to contact Rip, or...
To, like,
What was
lure
it?
him out, I think.
Yeah, to lure him out so we can talk to him.
That is an option. They could potentially do that. We might potentially do other things, just throwing that out there, but...
You know what we could do? We could set up a fake job. Because he probably wants to get paid. Like, I don't think he'd just blow us up for fun. I think he would blow us up for fun. I don't think he'd blow us. This is confusing. What if we buy his services?
Can we do that without going through Tolan, though?
Well, yeah, we can use the fake company and just hire him to go knock someone over, maybe. I don't know that he would go for it, but it's better than raising hell and hoping that he doesn't want to kill us.
True. We could use a shell company. And then have basically like a hear me out moment.
I don't know how else we'll do it unless we just stumble across him. But
Yeah.
Sorry, for those who can't see it in the chat, Rip Rose just tested their discipline.
Oh, it's on the screen.
Oh, good. Okay. That's really funny now that we can see what those are for.
Yeah.
Before it was just ominous dice rolls.
Don't worry about it.
No, okay, yeah, sure. This is like walking in on someone building like a device of some sort, and they're like, "No, don't worry about it. Just close the door."
It's almost worse being
Don't
able
drink-
to see who's rolling now.
Yeah, it kind of is a little bit. Don't drink the water for 3 days. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is that a detonator? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what it is.
No, the detonator's next. Just it's fine. You're letting the hot air out.
And by the way, don't have kids for like the next
Yeah.
5 days.
Don't touch anyone. That like at all. Okay, so how do we? We're not even that rich. Like we barely have like 100 grand. Fuck.
Good point.
This
mean,
is like trying to drive through
like
the desert
even-
on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Like you get a little bit of momentum and you just keep sinking in. Sorry, go ahead.
The GPF didn't give you a time limit, like a deadline for information either. Like you could go business as normal for a little while if you want to.
Business as normal is dismantling capitalism. That doesn't fly. Like
It's
also
like,
business
even
as
if we-
normal was criminal activity.
Which they're aware of. Like, they're not stupid.
They're
but-
fully aware of it, yeah.
Yeah, but they're probably not going to encourage it, is what I mean.
Oh, yes. I don't think they care. I really don't think they care.
We could always test that and find out who's going to blow us up, you know? We knock over too many banks, we might not be worth the trouble.
What was I gonna say? Like, because even if we did blow ourselves up and
Mhm.
like fake our deaths, we're still now we're not just poor, we're dead and poor.
True.
And like that's almost worse than being alive and poor.
God, that is depressing.
Right.
Wow.
You know what's
Wow.
worse than being alive and poor? Being dead and poor.
Oof. You'd think it would be the opposite.
because then the IRS won't listen to you.
Right? But then they could just have
Yeah.
your family. So what if once we're dead, we just remake ourselves under the Shell Corp and use that as the front?
With what money?
Fair.
Daisy suggests if we're going to do that, she just sort of chimes in and says, well, if we're going to be dead, that means we are going to need new identities, which is something that's probably within our capacity to get. But we'll need some supplies.
Sparky's kind of eyeing Daisy like, what supplies?
Well, you know how we have ID cards that have like all of our information?
Mm-hmm.
Counterfeiting the information on the cards is easy. Counterfeiting the cards is hard. We need blank cards.
Wouldn't they just be able to run us through like the face recognition? Like
That's
we
why
all
we
look.
need that's why we need the actual cards, because those get updated into the system.
No, but wouldn't they have old records? Like if some cheeky bastard at the GPF is like, oh, that one looks familiar, and then runs it through like the old database. They're like, aren't they supposed to be dead? And then
I thought you were gonna say some cheeky bastard at the DMV.
Same.
hey, are you dead? You can't drive if you're dead. Go to Iowa.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people are in the galaxy?
How many people are trying to dismantle capitalism and also simultaneously knocking over banks in the galaxy?
I can think of 24 off the top of my head, and I don't work for the GPF.
Right, and they probably know all those people, and they'd be able to match the faces of those people. I'm not saying it won't work, I'm just saying that is something to look out for.
No, I mean, we're faking IDs. There's always going to be risk. I'm just saying, most people that do the scans don't get paid enough to care enough to.
Unless a Radic comes and finds us.
Right. It would have to be somebody that's actually looking specifically for us.
Which they probably will be, because unless we really convince them that we're dead, I don't know that they'll buy it.
Right, but see, not if we're dead and they buy it, then they're not looking for us at all. I mean, until we start blowing stuff up again. I'm just saying that's something we'll need if we're going to fake our deaths, regardless.
How much would that cost?
I don't know of anywhere to buy them, but I do know a place on Earth where we could steal them.
Oh. Do we have to go back to Earth?
I mean, we could ask around, see if somebody else knows a place where we could steal them, but I know an office where they're in a building that has really weak walls, and really apathetic people work there.
So, let me just make sure I've got it straight. You know that there's a couple of Hornets on our ship. Hornets. And you want to go punch the nest?
No, I want to sneak into the nest and steal the stuff that we need out of it.
Without alerting any of the Hornets, of which there are a lot?
From the weak part of the hornet's nest with the hornets who are asleep half the time.
I'm going to
forget
forget
this analogy
that
is
I
breaking
wanted to
down really
ask.
fast.
Is it probably. I'm going to forget that I wanted to ask why you know that they're asleep all the time, and we don't need to. Won't they know? Because they know where we are. They'll see us going to Earth. Why would we go to Earth?
Well, this could happen after we get a new ship. Just.
Oh, right. The whole dying thing.
Just we'll need to go get those at some point like before or soon after we're dead, quote unquote.
So, what do we think of contacting Rip?
I am wondering if at this point we should raise our funds first.
Annie starts rubbing her fingers against her temples.
Ooh, okay, so how do we do a job with the GPF watching us?
Maybe
'Cause as
that's
soon as
exactly
we-
the kind of setup that we need.
But as soon as we contact anyone we know, then they'll get nabbed. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't, like, love Zevi, but she's useful. And I don't think it's worth it getting her nabbed. And also, we don't really have Tolan anymore.
Daisy just chimes like, if we cross Zevi, she's gonna have to be dead at the end of it.
Right.
Or we're dead.
Also, she gave us that really nice rocket launcher, and if she can just give us a really nice rocket launcher, that's terrifying.
The doctor actually comes up to the bridge, uncharacteristically.
Wow, wonder what spurred this interesting development.
Raven really grasping at straws over here.
You're sick of us listening to drone on like idiots.
You know the plot needs to move on when the doctor comes in.
Hey, idiots,
Well,
heard you can't get a job done.
It worked with all that shit, so
No, the doctor isn't here to like push the plot forward. You were gonna say something, but now I can't remember what it was.
They just come in to get a snack. Like,
They just come up and ask, so what's going on exactly? Normally I wouldn't care, but given the recent events, I actually would like to be kept in the loop this time.
you know what, Doc? That is a very valid question, and I think the rest of us are also trying to figure that out.
Why, thank you, Annalise. So what was the discussion?
I think Annie just gives like a little salute with 2 fingers against her her forehead as the doctor says thank you.
we were gonna get Rip's attention. Oh no, right, we were gonna get money first. And then get Rip's
Money's good.
attention, and then have him blow up the ship and kill us.
I see. What's the plan to get money?
There isn't one.
I suppose we could steal something.
Well, with our current involvement with the GPF, we're not certain if they would be so keen on that.
What if we stole something from someone the GPF doesn't like?
Who don't they like?
I would imagine they have many enemies.
Sorry, what did you say, Raven?
Oh, the doctor says, criminals? Probably?
Right, but we don't want to sell criminals out to the GPF, weirdly enough. Well, maybe we do. Do we want to sell criminals out?
It depends on the criminal.
It also depends on who has labeled them criminals, because I mean, technically we're criminals.
Yeah, but like we steal from banks and other people kill people and or kidnap and sell them. It's a very broad term.
I guess at that point, the line is drawn where we wish for it to be drawn.
Whose stocks aren't doing so hot right now?
I don't know, Raven, whose stocks aren't doing
We're all
so hot
sitting here
right
like,
now.
oh
can
my
look it
god,
up.
I was watching Nightwire last night and I can't even
let me just
remember.
pull Google.
You can literally do that. you can pull up that information. I just
Yeah, let's
was
do
waiting
that.
for someone to say that they do that.
I didn't even think of that as an option. I was like, I was not keeping up on the stock market. Oh my god.
You have the internet.
You have a whole ass Android, I guess.
Why is our entire crew sharing one brain cell today? Like, this is ridiculous.
This is pretty bad. This is on the echelons. Yeah, what would you like us to roll, if anything?
Oh, education.
Okay.
Oh boy.
You're literally doing a Google search.
Oh my god.
Hey!
It's a nat 20.
Oh boy, let me tell you.
Yeah. Here's 5 years worth of stock information.
You find the flow charts, the profit projections,
Oh
everything. Okay, so you know that I'm gonna go through all of the corporate council here because you got a nat 20.
Okay.
So let's start with Pillar Pharmaceuticals. Their stocks are doing fantastic. They've recently come out with a new drug that can essentially change the color of your hair with a pill. And it is a new fad, and people are buying it up like it's candy. So their stocks are actually doing quite well. Pezos Incorporated just came out with a new app for PezCon. it's like an instant compares a bunch of different third-party vendors to each other, so you get the best price on PezCon, sort of the space Amazon kind of a thing. So their stocks are doing okay. Not as good as Pillar, but they're doing okay.
Can I just say, when you said PezCon, all I could think about was the little dispenser.
Same. I was thinking it was a whole convention
Yeah.
dedicated to the little candy
PezCon?
dispensers. Mhm.
I thought it made sense because, like, the CEO of the company has a big head.
That works for me.
I think his name's Jeff. It's like a family name, but for Pezos. Anyways, I digress. So they're doing pretty decent. Quince is pretty stable. Their stocks, since you have a nat 20, you know this, their stock typically doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. And for some reason, you just happen to look up that they have about 77% of the market share on computer operating systems. So it doesn't fluctuate all that much. They're like the Microsoft of this galaxy. And then PhilCorp has fluctuated a lot, but that's not terribly unusual because they are a banking firm, essentially. All of their services are dealing with finances. And so anytime it dips down, it pretty much always comes right back up. So seeing dips is not very alarming. Visco and Swanson Mineral and Electric, however, are taking a hit. Visco not quite as much, but Swanson Mineral and Electric, you find some news articles along with this that shows that their stock is hurting quite a bit because of their involvement with the independent miners that you helped on Salos Prime, I think was the name of the planet. So because they essentially lost that, they appeared weak and they lost investors. So they are currently hurting on the stock market. Visco, I think, was a little bit involved with that, and they've also been involved with a couple other things where they've, again, started to appear a little bit weaker and started hemorrhaging some investments as a result. So, after you've looked that up and you know that information, I'm assuming you share it.
No, I think I'll keep it to myself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, Sparky sends it to everyone's PDA instead of like explaining it to them. They'll just be like, oh yeah, here's, I've marked the ones that are lowest.
How's Mom Sato doing since we started, like,
oh yeah, like our campaign.
Spacelandering them?
Yeah.
Dragging their name through the proverbial dirt.
Mom Sato is part of the it's one of the large non-council corporations, so they're mostly owned by Pillar and Visco. They're doing okay. The couple of break-ins and like burning down the one building didn't really
We
hurt
did
them
steal
on
a bunch of their
large-
servers.
Yeah, it hurt their like day-to-day operations a little bit, but it didn't hurt them on the stock market scale.
This is gonna sound like the dumbest question. Did we ever sell all that blackmail data we have on the companies?
Nope, you still have that. Haven't done a whole lot with it.
What are the deals? I think
Daisy
Sparky
used
will have
some
remembered
of
that
it.
at that moment.
Daisy used some of it to extort some money from some of them,
Right.
but that's it. But yet the doctor points out that perhaps looking at Swanson or Visco, stealing from one of them where they appear weaker on the council right now, the GPF won't be as focused on them because the GPF is directed by the council as a whole. So if their stocks are lower, they have less power on the council.
Like they won't care if one of their weakest gets eaten, kind of thing. Like more food for them.
Essentially. And Liam actually chimes in as like, yeah. Seems kind of surprised that the doctor knows this information. It's like, yeah, pretty much. It's essentially a Cold War of 6 nations, if you will, they all want each other gone, but they recognize that they also need each other. So imagine, like, and he explains it in a future analogy, but I'm going to use a modern day analogy so it's easy for everybody to understand. Imagine like a UN that's made up of all Cold War era America and the Soviet Union, essentially.
Oh,
so
great.
they're all trying to steal from each other. They're all trying to undermine each other, but at the same time, they have to work together to govern the galaxy.
Shaking hands and holding knives behind their backs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's sort of a all-out war between two corporations. Is, you would get sanctioned by the other corporations, and that would be really bad. But if you stole something from them, or you had a skirmish here and there, or if you did something with a shell corporation that owns a shell corporation that owns a shell corporation that made it so that they lost a bunch of money, well, that's fine. So they're kind of at war with each other, but they have to keep up appearances, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how this works.
I think Sparky will mention specifically to Annalise, like, we do still have a bunch of that blackmail data we could maybe feed to the trash pandas for a price, obviously. Or use against the. I think so. I don't know if Daisy used all of it, and they'll look at Daisy for confirmation. Like,
I don't know. I just blackmailed like 5 of them off that whole list. I could keep blackmailing them. That's always fun.
There's some old analogy about drinking from the same well all the time, but sort of. I don't remember the whole thing, but like, I guess don't overdo it.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying that I know this information from experience. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. I just ran into it somehow. But I mean, theoretically speaking, we might be able to find places that would buy this information from us. Yeah, on the whole. Perhaps, people who could do damage with the information, but not damage to us.
Are these people corpos?
They could be, I guess.
I don't really like the idea of handing one corporation a gun and just hoping they'll shoot one of the other corporates with it, but we are broke.
I mean, if we find people who are specifically looking for dirt on the companies that we have, then I don't think there's going to be any issue. So it'll take some digging, but I'm sure we can find it.
So our plan is to blackmail and or steal from corporations. And then once we have the money, maybe hire a rip to kill us, and then steal the things from Earth that we need to make the IDs. Is that right?
Probably.
Something along those lines.
What can I do? Because I don't really... I mean, I run a fake corporation. That's about it. You can say nothing. That's okay.
This is the wobbliest plan this crew has ever put together in 46 episodes.
That is saying something.
Because we're trying to do business shit. We blow stuff up and hit buildings with spaceships. This isn't our...
It's very true.
I'm here, and I know the simplest solutions.
Yep.
And I'm watching all of you make one of those machines that I can never remember the name of, but they're like
The
super
Rube Goldberg?
complicated.
Yeah, Rube Goldberg.
Machine. Yeah, I'm literally watching you make one of those. Would I know the two-step plan that would make this so easy? But
Raven,
I can't
help.
say what it is.
But where's the fun in that, Raven?
I've already been hinting at them. I can't
You
hint
may have-
anymore.
You may have noticed that we are a group of pigeons walking on the top of a building, looking at a single breadcrumb next to a bread factory.
Yeah.
I'm not
We
saying
have
give us hints.
2
I'm
brain
just
cells, and they are fighting for 3rd place,
saying,
honey.
they sure are.
Oh god.
This podium is too big for the lot of them. Oh, it's gonna be fine.
I will give you one more hint, in that you can ask your NPCs questions that might give you an answer.
I don't know if that's gonna be real helpful to us in this situation.
Okay.
There might be some water in this desert. That's your hint. The fuck?
Find a shovel. I won't even give you one. Just find a shovel and then dig for a while. You'll find some water on your skin because you're perspiring in the heat.
There's like maybe a dozen NPCs that regularly that you could ask questions. It's not like saying there's water in the desert. It's like one of these 12 people has water. Ask them which one it is.
What kind of shell game is this?
Taps microphone. Which one of you 12 assholes knows the answer?
Will the real water bearer please stand up? Oh my god.
Please stand up.
Oh
Please
my
stand
goodness.
We're
Please-
begging you, please.
stand up. There's like no one in the auditorium. I don't want to talk to
Vacation
Tolan.
Grandpa be any help?
Possibly.
Oh, all these straws and
love
we chose
that-
the cop.
I love that like 5.5 hours ago, if you check our group chat on the Blackfeather Guild, Raven specifically said, "Oh, tip for the game. Always remember you can ask your contacts for help or advice." Raven,
Literally
we don't
said that.
suddenly we have no contacts, no brain cells, nothing.
I wear
Not
glasses.
two
I don't know.
nickels to
I
rub
can't do
together.
it.
I do too.
That's a joke because we don't have any contacts. So
Oh,
what the
wow.
Yeah, yep.
That was
Um,
good. I missed it.
So fuck, I don't know. I mean, the doctor's basically slapping us in the face with it. We still don't know it. So let's just go with plan B.
Okay.
It'll
What's
be
plan B?
fine.
I'm so
What we
stressed that I
just
don't even
talked
remember
about.
what the doctor said.
Right.
The doctor, I will put it in a summary. Let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. The doctor essentially said, hey, if you focus on the companies that have weak stock sales right now, that are struggling, the GPF is far less likely to interfere with you stealing from them.
Right, so let's steal from those guys. We're going
That
and
was
we're
part
hitting
of-
Swanson.
I was gonna say that was part of the plan. That was part of the whole 50-step plan to kill ourselves.
Is this a new season of 13 Reasons Why?
It does feel a little, yeah.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness gracious. Where is the location of Swanson? Let's just, where are we going? We just need to move.
What can
I
we
think.
steal from them? What do they have?
Well, let me tell you, since
Mining
Sparky got a
equipment, I'm
nat
guessing.
20, they deal largely in mineral rights, mining, power generation and distribution, and various other utilities and infrastructure. Their military fleet is of an average size and heavily armored.
So what if we steal from Swanson and then give those mineral rights and or supplies to the miners for a cost?
Do we feel comfortable charging the miners that kind of money we need, though?
We can't really give it away because we need the money.
Then find someone else to buy it.
Who's gonna buy it?
Someone with money.
I feel like we were so close to the easy answer and then we started
were
making it
nearly
complicated
there.
again.
Yeah.
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 Listen, you can say Jay was making it complicated. It's fine.
No. You're all making it complicated.
And we steal from their bank accounts.
Potentially, that's
Money?
another route.
Why would you
could go.
steal money from them? They have
We set up a
right.
cryptocurrency.
Oh my god.
We need money for the new ship and shit. Like, I thought we were stealing money.
God.
You could also just go steal a ship.
Oh my goodness.
And then we lose, like, they'll figure out the transmitter. Like, that's the whole problem.
That's the whole problem.
Transmitter.
They know where we are.
You have a shuttle that hasn't been tampered with.
Yes.
Right, but a shuttle can't FTL. We can't just ditch the car here and walk to Iowa.
We all just pack our stuff into the shuttle and bring the cheese
my
cryopod,
God.
and that's how we
Take
live
it
the
to
rest of our
outside.
lives.
Oh my god.
And I mean, how are we gonna steal a ship from a fucking shuttle, stick it up the sunroof? Like, what?
Crash it through the windshield.
We have a rocket launcher, we're just gonna,
Okay.
like, lean out the side of
Your-
it and take
Your
aim.
resident thief is going to give you some suggestions.
Oh, good.
So Daisy sees that we're struggling with how do we steal something to pay for something.
It's not the stealing that's the problem. I don't know how many times we have to say it. It's that the GPF will know that we're not on our ship anymore. No, I have an idea. Never mind.
What's your idea?
My idea is we make the ship look like it's going somewhere else on autopilot.
Okay.
Then
Should
where
we
are
drive
we?
it straight into a sun?
That's the one.
Then where
Okay,
are we?
not quite the direction I thought
On
you were
another
going, but that
ship.
works.
We just take the shuttle, go get another ship, and send the ship into a sun. It's like driving your car off a cliff.
How are we going to acquire other ship?
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but see, if we drive it into a sun, they're gonna know that we're not dead. Because we just wouldn't voluntarily drive into a sun.
I mean,
They're
that's
gonna
fair.
know.
But,
How would they know? They're gonna know.
but we could send it somewhere, is what I'm saying. We could autopilot it to give us leeway,
There
like
you
time to set everything up.
You're on a good track.
I'm really curious what the other track was.
Daisy was just gonna suggest, hey, why don't we, go to a place where there's a lot of ships, have the Lagrange orbit around it, we take the shuttle down, we steal another ship and just leave.
Because
Well-
then we have a hot ship.
So
That's kind of the
we
problem.
sell that ship that doesn't have a GPF tracker to someone, and we go buy a ship that's not.
Yeah, but there's still the problem of people buying a hot ship.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but like if the Lagrange is orbiting a planet, and then they come and check it out, and they go, "Hey, you seen a ship that's in orbit?" And they're like, "Yeah." Also, we got stole from. There was a ship that went missing. Like 4 people and an android came and stole it. It was weird. Actually, there was like 8 of them, and a
There
chicken.
was a chicken.
All I can picture is that meme from Invincible that's going around. Use your brain, Daisy.
Daisy's like, that's why we ditch the ship that we steal and
Oh my
get a different
goodness.
ship. Either we
Oh my
sell it or
goodness.
we ditch it or something. We just need to get away from this ship long enough
This
so
is-
that we can do the actual plan.
This is
Or
actually
like-
the least productive episode we've ever had.
I know.
Hey, we had
This
a
is
beach
like, I don't
episode.
know.
The beach episode was more productive
Who
than this.
doesn't like the GPF that we could sell a hot ship to? Who's not afraid of the GPF
Oh my
and
goodness.
would buy the
Daughter,
ship?
I don't know.
Oh,
What?
Let's sell it to his own fucking daughter.
daughter
How are
mine,
we-
where did you get that shit? Oh, a bunch of criminals.
I mean,
my
yeah,
girlfriend.
I could call Lily and talk to her and see if she's got any suggestions.
Oh,
If we,
God.
obviously not from the ship, but we would need to go to a payphone, as if you will.
Can you imagine Daisy sending out comms to Lily and her dad listening to it, being like, "What? Excuse me, the fuck?"
So it's really funny to me, Raven, because listening to Daisy talk about this, it sounds just as cockamamie as the plan we're making up.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because I can't just spell it out for you. I have to process it through Daisy's 19-year-old brain.
Oh God.
We are a mess.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, more than usual. Alex is
But
gonna
Daisy
come
did
back and we're like,
suggest
hey.
Yeah, I know, right? Daisy did suggest talking to Lily. That might be an option.
Don't talk to the daughter of the guy that caught us stealing.
I know that is a valid option, but
It's
both
way too
in
many
character
risks.
and out of character, I'm a
Yeah.
little wary of that.
Okay.
Especially from our ship. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
not
tracked.
from. Daisy did say, not obviously not from the ship. Go somewhere, go to
Even
an internet
then.
cafe, use a
Even
VPN,
then.
and then make the call.
It just feels,
okay.
it
Let's
feels
go
too risky.
find a freaking FedEx Kinko's or whatever and make a fucking phone call or something.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Process of elimination here. Are we faking our deaths or not?
I don't know.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna have to plan an outfit for that. Should that
I
be
know, honey.
the case?
I mean, Sparky would too, but Sparky's on board for faking the death because they've already done it the once. It would be double blind. Like, it's great.
Bam, double homicide. Oh my god.
Wow, this citizen is double dead. How the hell did they manage that? There's a ×2 modifier on it.
Dead square.
They're not just mostly dead, they're all the way dead.
Ooh.
These
They're
bitches
circling
ain't
back
coming
around
back.
to being alive. They're so dead.
Oh my God.
When you're so far under the ground that you come out the other side.
So, to anyone who hasn't seen the show before, this is probably the worst we've ever done on a plane. And that is saying something.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of Blue's Clues, and it's just like, do you know where the thing is? And they're like, it's right there. And the people on the screen are like, I can't find it. It's right there.
But it's like an hour and a half of that.
Yeah.
Like just
Oh my
someone
God.
taped looking for their keys in their house and they're like on their neck or something.
Yeah.
Turn
It's like,
around,
where
they're on
could
your
it
neck.
be?
Turn around.
It's like when
Like
you put your
asking-
sunglasses on your head and you forget they're there.
Yeah.
Where are my glasses?
This is the equivalent of being like, okay, kids, find the clue. And here's some
Yeah.
kid in the audience shout out, George Washington! And like, you can't discourage them because they're a child, but
Yeah.
what
But
does
you
George
really
Washington
just-
have to do with anything, sweetie?
I'm gonna chalk it up to this crew being so traumatized that we're just having processing issues right now. Everything has finally caught up to us, and we're like, well,
Yep.
guess
I
we're
mean, that is also true.
Oh my god.
all right. So let's take a minute here. Are we faking our deaths?
Yes. My vote is
Yes.
yes.
Okay, we're faking our deaths.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Sparky's like pulled out like their notepad app and they're just
Yes.
jotting stuff down.
So how are we going to fake our deaths? Are we going to set it up so that someone we know is going to do it? Or secondary option, we mess with someone we know will mess back and remove ourselves from the equation accordingly when that happens.
So, like, entice someone that doesn't like us or won't like us after we're done with them, and then just make them blow our ship up when we're not on it.
Yes. That way it doesn't involve anybody, like if you're worried, say for example, Zebi, if you're worried about getting them caught up in the aftermath, then we can just hit somebody we don't necessarily care about.
Would also be cheaper.
That as well.
Seth's gonna chime in, largely because I think Alex would and / Seattle might make this suggestion.
Does it involve bombs? Because probably.
Kind of. They're going to suggest that the ship's pretty banged up.
Hmm.
It sustained a lot of damage.
that we haven't
Probably-
really fixed. Yeah.
We could probably just make some of that damage a little bit worse, and the GPF might think that maybe they hit us harder than they meant to, and before we could get it fixed, it just exploded.
Like a malfunction?
Yeah, like that would be valid.
They don't really know Seattle's a whiz mechanic.
Yeah, or like maybe it was like a gas leak, and we didn't catch it in time, and then it blew up.
All I could think there was, it's a weather balloon. Yeah, a weather balloon exploded in low orbit. No, nothing to see here. Like just the shittiest government cover up.
I
was
thought
a
you said
gas
a
leak in a weather
water
balloon.
balloon.
Yeah.
But my
Sorry.
only
Yeah.
concern with something like that is that if there is no direct cause, like for
It would-
example,
it might
somebody
look
else
shady.
shooting on us. Like if they know we have a shuttle, or if there's the possibility of a secondary ship picking us up or
Mhm.
something like that, and there's no evidence that there was a gas leak or what have you, then they're going to be suspicious. But if there's a second party involved, then there is somebody else present to attest to the fact that yes, the ship was blown up.
Raven,
Mm-hmm.
quick question that might require a roll. Would the GPF, or rather, like after we're blown up, would it be reasonable to expect someone who is coming to investigate to check the black box? Whatever
if they
the ship
can
happens to
find
have.
it. I will also point out that this point in the future, the conviction rate for arson is about the same as it is now.
Which means,
it's very hard for them to figure out
okay,
if somebody actually set a house on fire or whatever building on fire, or if it
Well,
was
that's
an
good.
actual accident.
I was worried there.
Meaning, it's unlikely they're going to figure out that, oh, this was staged.
Right. But they might think
Was what I
more
was
that it was
cryptically
they
trying
might-
to tell you.
They might be more inclined to think it was staged, unless it was someone actually blowing us up.
Yeah. And if that were the
think where
case,
we're
like,
going.
yeah, and if that were the case, if we are going to be faking our identities, then they'd be more prone to be checking for us
Right.
rather than written us off as dead.
They'd have
That
reason
was
to
my
suspect.
concern. Yeah.
What if, because I'm sure there's like the equivalent of like motorcycle gangs in space.
Probably.
What if like they had like a calling card for when they blew something up, and we just faked
We
a
just
calling
pin it
card?
on them.
Copycat, yeah.
We would have to, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Raven, because this one I'm not actually sure on. Would we have to like fake sensor logs to show that they were in the system? Like I'm going really in depth on like covering the tracks on this, so I don't know
Would
if that's
they
necessary.
care that much?
They might. They kind of might. We were knocking over businesses like it was, a toddler in a Lego factory.
These are GPF,
Mm-hmm.
which means they are private police, essentially. Which means they don't get paid well. Just put it that way.
So it's not as reassuring as I think you meant it to sound, but I get it.
Okay.
I think I'm just channeling Sparky a little too hard and going full paranoid. This is why I shouldn't be a criminal, because I'd never get anything done. I would just sit there and worry. Yeah, that's the reason I shouldn't be a criminal. Don't say that on like an aired broadcast. So anyway,
One of the reasons, yes.
yes, that's the one.
The many reasons, yes, we
yeah.
know.
Yeah, most of them are jail. So never mind. Anyway.
Are you okay,
Oh my
Jay?
god. No, I just need to go rent a back house so I can dig myself a deeper grave.
So to anybody watching, for legal reasons, these are
I
all
live in
jokes.
Canada.
Yeah. Jay, don't tell them where you live.
It's a big country. It's fine. So what are we doing?
I don't don't know, but I posted something in Discord for all of you.
Oh, good. Oh, it is almost break time. I'll also mention that. So
Yeah.
perhaps
You're
we
not
could use
incorrect, Raven.
perhaps we could use a tenor to think.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's
Oh.
go ahead and take a break. We'll figure out what we're doing. And hopefully execute a plan when we get back. So go grab snacks, a drink, etc. And we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half of the show. Be right back. All right, we are back. We have conferred about the plan, and we have one now, kind of. So,
We have step one.
Annie and/or Captain, who's doing the thing first?
What thing? We've hit this point. Can we stop being cryptic, please?
Captain is going to fly to a station.
Okay. Random
There.
station?
Random station, just a normal populated station.
Okay. You find one. You get there. It's completely normal. There's nothing strange about it. It's a
Gonna be a
similar
trap.
layout. God.
Jay, I swear to God.
It's a similar layout to Fuel at Matt's. Some of the shops are obviously like in different locations, but like it's same architect built the same like modular stations, so like you can find your way around pretty easily. Where to now?
Does this generic station have like payphones or whatever the equivalent of a space payphone? They have like communication.
Yeah, they've got public communication terminals. Yeah.
Cool. Captain is gonna talk to Daisy.
Hey, Captain, what's up?
We have reason to believe that your girlfriend, Lily, I believe her name is, has some.
Haven't really used the girlfriend term yet, but yeah.
She is a girl, yes.
Yeah.
She is a romantic friend.
Yes.
Your girlfriend, Lily,
What about
could
her?
potentially offer us some information with
Oh.
how to proceed, both with her own father and in terms. We have also reason to believe that she is connected to the trash pandas. Do you know
Wait.
anything about this?
What?
Your girlfriend, she's a hacker.
There's a surprised Pikachu face expression on Daisy's face. As
You
she's
did not Google your girlfriend?
Of course I Googled my girlfriend. Nothing like that came up.
She seems to be connected to hacking in some way.
How do you know that?
Google.
Google told you that Lily Hall is a hacker.
Do you recall when Alistair... Do we know his name is Alistair? Is that just meta?
Do we even know his name?
I can't remember.
I don't know that Annie
Me?
ever told us his name.
I don't know that anybody ever told Daisy the Lilium Latin phrase either, which is why she's like, what?
Oh.
Oh, well, this is fun for me.
Yeah, I don't think that Annie ever said his full name, no.
Okay.
Okay, okay, I'll say a connected, a connection.
Trash panda person, yeah.
Yeah, one of Annie's connections to the trash pandas gave us cryptic information on Lily.
I don't think I was there for that conversation. What was the information?
It was in a dead language. We
So,
researched her
like
name
Java?
with that dead language. No, spoken language. Latin.
Oh, okay.
And information of a hacker came up.
That would explain a few things. Okay. Well, I was going to say that means I would have to have an awkward conversation about what we actually do with her, but it sounds like we're going to have an awkward conversation either way. Are you okay with me telling her what we do?
It's nothing her father wouldn't be able to tell her immediately anyway.
That's true. Okay. What am I asking her again?
I suppose first establish that she does have some kind of connection, and that honestly her father is now tracking and threatening us.
Okay. Daisy pulls like a headset out of her bag and starts hooking it up to the computer. It's like, I'm gonna be a bit, she just makes like a shooing motion, like, go away while I do this.
Captain's gonna be like, you're on the bridge.
No, I thought we were on the space station at the.
Oh, that's right. We're at the space station. That's what I was gonna say. It's like she tries to shoot her off the bridge, and Captain's like, "You're in my space." Like,
We are all absolutely fried at this point.
Captain leaves and finds Sparky.
Daisy has a long and awkward conversation with Lily that will happen just off screen because I'm not going to do both sides of that conversation right now.
You don't want to act that whole thing out right now?
You sure?
No.
You sure?
Could be fun.
Oh, it could be.
Could be.
Sounds like
could
a good
be-
idea.
Could be real good. So I think Sparky's out probably buying new clothes, prematurely buying their new life clothes to rock once they're dead again. So yeah, they're probably just shopping at whatever passes for an outlet mall on a station.
Captain's just following them around, and it's like, Sparky, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure, Cap.
Is defining a relationship very important to humans?
Sometimes, I guess. Whose relationship?
Daisy and Lily's. I referred to her as her girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
She said they had not established that as such, but I assumed they are girls romantically involved with each other.
I think it's kind of like, it's kind of like not naming like a file until you're sure what's going to be in it, if that makes sense.
But even if I do not specifically name a file, it is assigned random numbers and letters.
Right. And sometimes people choose like a different name, but naming it, maybe it's like an extension. Like if you name it a specific extension, then it's hard to change that. But like until you do that, then it's kind of vague. I don't really do computer stuff.
That's fair.
I also don't really do people stuff.
Should I
But
call her Lily.exe?
Maybe girlfriend.tmp? Yeah. And then Sparky just kind of shrugs like, wow, this is not the kind of question I was expecting Captain to ask me today.
Seattle's not here, so you...
Yeah, basically, you'll do. Oh god. What's Annie up to now? I'm curious. Whilst all this is going on.
Annie's gonna go buy some luggage because, unlike Sparky, there's no way in hell she's getting rid of all of her clothes.
That's bold of you to presume.
I guess, yeah. Sparky just adds new ones to the pile. But no, I think she'd probably get like a luggage to shove all of her belongings into. Take it on the shuttle or something.
Oh shit! I guess we should get luggage, hey? find like a storage rental place.
I like how we spent all this time talking about this money we don't have, and so you're all out spending this money that we don't have.
To be fair, we do have money. We just don't have a lot of it, and clothes probably don't cost that much.
Yeah, we've got like
90 grand.
Yeah, you've got retail money. You just don't have hire ripped blow up the ship money.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I lied. We're almost at 200 grand. So we're well flushed to buy like clothes.
Oh yeah.
We're not buying like Ralph Lauren or some shit.
That's what survived into space, Ralph Lauren.
No.
Good God, is he still his little polo, or is it a little guy on a rocket ship with his polo mallet?
Oh my God. While Annie's shopping, Liam comes up to you, Annie, and says, "So, if we're faking our deaths, what about Mom and Dad?"
Annie kind of squeezes the bridge of her nose, and she says, "Yeah, I thought about that.
That's...
I don't know.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, I haven't been home in 6 years, so they're probably more worried about you than they are me."
I mean, that still doesn't really change the whole "we'll be dead" thing for them. Like, do we want them to think we're dead? Well, I mean, at least Mom.
Yeah, Annie kind of like snorts a laugh. She's like, yeah, no, Mom's definitely probably the big kicker here. I mean, I just don't think I can afford to worry about her right now. Like, I'm worried about keeping us alive and keeping you alive, more importantly. And if they have to think that we're dead for that, then I mean, I guess I'm willing to go through with that.
I guess, but I don't really want to put her through that.
We can always figure out how to touch base with her later. I don't think we can avoid hurting her now. And I don't want to send her any confirmation either, because that puts the rest of the crew at risk. And that's not fair.
I mean, it's true. I could always go back and just tell her that you're dead. That would sell the story a lot, and then she doesn't think we're both dead. And maybe I can help more from home than I can from here.
I don't want you going back there.
Any reason why other than just me not being here?
I think you're safer here with me, where I can keep my eyes on you.
He gives you a little bit of a smirk, and it's like, yes, it's safer where we're talking about faking our own deaths. It's much safer than back home.
There's always an alternative, whether that's negative or positive. Just take my word here that the alternative to this one is worse.
Okay. I trust you.
I'd just rather have you here with me. Mom and Dad are grown-ups. They can take care of themselves.
All right, let's just figure out a way to let her know that I'm not dead. Don't have to tell
Okay.
Dad.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. And Liam wanders off with a contemplative look. Anything else you want to do on the space station before Daisy gets back to report?
Maybe use, I think Sparky would at least use the whole sat phone setup and just maybe let Matt and Sonya know that they're not actually going to be dead, but
Okay.
they might show up as dead.
Could I get a tech engineering roll to set that up?
Certainly.
22? Yeah.
That's garbage.
It's it kind of staticky. It's not the best connection. But you've got it set up, and
Okay.
it's, relatively speaking, it's a secured connection.
I want y'all to know I've got a plus 17 to that.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
You do have an advantage if you want to use it, but like,
if it's not gonna trigger any alarms, I think I'll save that for when when shit hits the fan.
It's not that important. It's just you're gonna have a hard time understanding each other.
Okay.
And you're just letting them know that you're not gonna be.
Yeah, I won't
But
let them
actually
know
be
like
dead.
any of the details of the plans. I'm literally just gonna say, hey, if you see a notice saying that we're dead soon, within the next month or so, ignore that.
The rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. Well, probably not that greatly exaggerated knowing us. The rumors of my
Fair.
death were surprisingly on point.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that. And then, at some point, Daisy comes back after like a 2-hour long conversation. Probably a lot of angry looking people waiting to use that terminal standing around it. But yeah, she comes
Listen,
back.
I'm on my deathbed. I need to make this call.
Actually, knowing Daisy, she probably does yell out something like that, like my girlfriend has 6 weeks to live. This is the last time we're gonna be able to talk. Yeah, probably. Anyways, she comes back and says, "Okay, so yeah, we had a long conversation. We're good. Everything's fine. Yeah, she's she kind of mutters this next bit a little bit, looking at us like she's like a better hacker than me. So there's that, and yeah, she does work with trash pandas, and she gave us a couple of options that we could do. Also, like, yay, I'm dating someone who does cool stuff and can help us. She sort of looks at you all like, I feel like I'm the only one excited about that. Okay.
What did you think she did before this?
I don't know. What do normal people do? Normal people college stuff.
Not a very attentive girlfriend, Daisy.
She didn't
Apparently,
tell
they
me
do
about
not
the
define
hacking stuff.
themselves as girlfriends.
She just does the like teenager face turning red, the looking down with the hand over the eyebrow, like, oh my god. Do you want to know what she said or not?
Yes.
All right, so trash pandas aren't really scared of GPF, so they would probably be willing to just buy the ship and use the tracking to fuck with them, or trade us one of their ships. Or she told me how I can just probably disable the transmitter on the ship, but eventually.
Seriously, Raven?
Hmm?
Nothing.
No, I'm gonna second that. Seriously?
What?
I considered it because Raven told us you could get some help dismantling that, and I was like, yeah, no, that's a bomb. I'm not gonna touch that. But yeah.
There is a but. If we disable it, the GPF's gonna know, relatively soon and know that something's up. But
How would they know?
They're not gonna know.
They're gonna know. But
I think
could
switching
disable
ships
it.
would probably be easier.
Yeah, like if we needed to, I could disable it for a short time, essentially.
I would
but-
be fine with trading.
Okay, then I will go back there and we'll set the meeting up.
Thank you.
Annie mumbles something under her breath about asking Sparky because it's their ship.
Oh, correct. Sparky. As the captain, may
Is
I
Mumble,
trade
like,
your ship?
not wanting to know?
She just says
Or
it
is this
offhand.
Okay,
Just offhand.
gotcha. Okay. So go ahead, Lisa.
As the captain, may I trade your ship for another?
Sparky gives Annie not even like a dirty look, but a look of like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, not angry, but just like, I have no idea what you're getting at, but I don't get it. Like, it's like, they very much look confused and almost hurt. And they just kind of nod absently to Captain and like give her a thumbs up.
Annie just looks up from whatever she was doing as if like she didn't even recognize that she spoke. And
Right.
she's just like,
Meanwhile, Sparky's looking at her like, why would you hold a knife to me like that?
Yeah, Daisy just looks at you all and like, right, okay. Glad we established that. I'm gonna go set up the meet. Is there anything specifically like you want me to tell them? Like, what type of ship do we want? Where do we want to meet?
Should I pull up a picture reference?
Why, yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, Jay would be the one to ask about what kind of ship
Yeah.
we want.
Except they didn't decide because there's like 20 of them that are all amazing.
I
Yeah.
mean, we can decide later, but she's
Yeah.
like basically wanting to know if the crew
we
has.
just want
stuff to
something like a bit bruisier.
Okay.
That's about it. Like a bit bruisier, a bit bigger, with the capability of at least similar firepower to what we had on the Lagrange.
We're a
Okay, cool.
growing family.
We sure are. Got 8 people and a fucking chicken on board.
Okay, so yeah, Daisy goes to talk to Lily and set all that up. And then yeah, you'll be able to get a ship. We'll say like a level. Yeah, level 12 ship. So a couple levels higher than the Lagrange. All right. So, eventually Daisy will come back. You've got the meeting set up. Annie, do you check your phone or email or anything like that during this trip?
I'd say since getting her memories back, Annie probably checks things a lot more frequently, and keeps up with whatever information she previously had on her tablet and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's like an email. The subject line is just a frog emoji.
Ah, damn it! The fucking frogs! And she opens it.
The email just says, "Hey, glad you got things figured out with Lilium. Really glad that introduction worked out."
She sends back. Could have been a little more cryptic. Hey.
you get back an email that's just a thumbs up emoji, a flower, and then a happy face.
She sends back a middle finger emoji.
Your like instant messenger type thing pops up, and same person. They say this might be easier since you're actually at your computer. Too cryptic?
For someone who didn't have their memories back, a little.
So still no luck getting those back then?
No, I have them now, but I didn't at the time.
You didn't when you just opened that email?
No, I meant when you sent the information the first time.
Oh. Well, I couldn't make it too easy. That wouldn't be fun.
Fun for who?
Well, you used to find these entertaining, at least.
It's fun when you know what the game is.
There's just a frog emoji back.
She sends one of those eye roll emojis.
I'd like to think that at this point in the future there's like a finger gun emoji, so you get that one back. Then it says the user is offline.
She mumbles under her breath something about jackass, and then leaves it alone.
Okay. But yeah, the message would suggest that this person is responsible for introducing Lily to the group. Just as an FYI. What do you all do from there? In preparation for the meetup and switching ships.
Good question.
So, sorry, my brain just did a full like hard fault. We're trading with the trash pandas, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Do we know
They are
where?
willing. Yeah, Daisy set up a meeting point that's not too far away,
Okay.
so that you can get there within like a day. And yeah, they're willing to trade ships with you. Out of character, basically build whatever level 12 ship that you would like. Total free reign. The ships use the same leveling up process as the regular characters do. Obviously, some things equate to not quite the same flavor text, but it's essentially the same. Yeah. That obviously doesn't solve the problem of faking your deaths, but it
Yeah,
does solve
I think
the
that's
problem
more
of
what Sparky's. I
getting
think
the
Sparky's
ship.
probably working out the plans with Daisy as to what they have to steal, where, like, kind of planning a little bit in advance for that.
Sure. What specific questions does Sparky ask Daisy?
Specifically, like, where? Are you sure it's there anymore? Things, kind of that preliminary course of action. Like, hey, are you sure that we can actually steal this thing right out from under one of the most heavily defended planets in the verse?
Okay, so I'll take it one question at a time. I know this because, well, as I'm sure you know, Thornwood's not my actual last name, but it's the name that's on my ID card. So when I was running away from home, living on the streets on Earth, I needed a way to change my identity, and I got really lucky. I managed to find someone who knew about a back entrance into one of the local ID centers, and so turned out his information was right, and they've got this it's like a busted window, but it's in the basement. The window's not like completely like broken or anything like that. It's just the latch doesn't click. So it's really easy to open it from the outside if you know it's open. If you didn't know, there would be no way to tell. So I can get into the basement, and the basement's where they store all the extra supplies, including those cards. So all I gotta do is get to that building, crawl through that window, and I can grab us some cards and a programmer off the shelves.
Couple things. One, last time you said it would be easy and you'd sneak in, you got shot. Second,
Okay.
Are you sure you just need cards? You don't need a machine or anything to do it?
Well, the programmer that they have in there, I can grab one. They're like handheld things. That'll make it easier.
Okay.
I can build one of those out of parts on the ship if I need to, but it'll be a lot easier with the actual thing. But yeah, it's mostly just those cards because they're really hard to duplicate. They've got this, they're not rewritable. Like once the information's on there, that's it. You can't change it. If you need anything changed, you have to get a new one.
Okay.
So replicating that is really difficult, but you know how...
Do we need to do anything?
I just need you all to take me there, and then probably someone to, be a lookout, make sure there's nobody coming.
So worst case, we get caught. What would you say we do? Because I think they might not turn like an eye to this.
Like there's very low likelihood that we would get caught, but say worst case scenario, I got like stuck in the window or something like that and we got caught trying to break into an ID center. Probably get arrested.
And if we get arrested, then probably Mr. Hall would know.
Yeah. If you got arrested, though, they didn't know I was on the ship.
Right, but if you get arrested with us, I think they'll probably draw the straws.
Yeah, but I mean, if you see somebody coming, you can just let me know and then run away. And then I can hide.
There's just a lot of variables, and I just don't want to see you or anyone get shot.
Well, it's an ID center. They're GPF affiliated. They're not going to actually shoot bullets at me.
They won't, but any security people that come on, I'm just saying I don't like it. But if it's the only way that we can do it, then let's plan it out a little more with everyone on the crew so nobody jumps the gun and does something stupid. And they're trying not to like look at themselves, but they're like, oh, I'm definitely in that part.
Daisy doesn't wear glasses, but she gives you the looking down the glasses look with a smirk. Like, yeah, because we never do that.
Yeah.
Look, this is my best solution for the problem of that we're going to need those cards. If there's another way, if you can find a way to buy them, like, I'm not opposed to that. I've done this before with how slow bureaucracy moves. I highly doubt they fixed the window or that they even know about it.
Let's plan anyway, just in case.
All right.
Because nothing ever goes according to plan.
It's fair enough.
But it's a good plan.
Yeah. And what she describes, like the layout and the type of people there, it's basically like a DMV, in the States at least, where like everybody that works there is underpaid and apathetic and they don't want to be there, and like they're not going to be paying attention to things like, oh, this window has a broken latch. It's like, oh, that I thought I heard a noise downstairs. I don't get paid enough to care.
Fair. Yeah, that's all Sparky's doing. It's just making sure everything's like top notch on that.
Perfect. But yeah, that's the sort of the landscape that the Daisy describes for Sparky. What do you all or one, is there anything else that you want to do in the day transit time to get to where you're going to trade ships? And two, oops, sorry, bumped my microphone. What all do you pack? What do you take with you? Do you have any goodbye rituals that you want to do on the ship?
Aside from torching it,
Do we need to do anything special with like the cryopod?
oh god, I had forgotten about the cryopod. We'll probably want to move like the majority of the cryopods because they had our grow beds in them, right? Like we do have a full hydroponics garden set up, but we do have extra like smaller versions of them. And that I don't think Seattle would forgive us if we left his cheese cooler on the ship.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
That is not me as a player saying that, or like saying that we should bring it with us. I'm just saying, I feel like Seattle might have some words about it.
Yeah, Seattle would be uploading that first. Like,
Yeah, it would be chicken, cryopod, whatever else.
yeah. Maybe he'd help his own kid pack. I don't know.
Listen, I got all my stuff out of the walls. You can get your stuff out of the vents.
Right.
For Sparky, there's not really any rituals. I think, if anything, they just cleaned their room out. They didn't have much to begin with, and they probably just lock the door and just leave it. Like, they're happy to leave most of that behind.
Interesting.
I don't like that you said interesting to that, but okay.
No, I find it interesting, the reactions to the ship. With everything that's gone on it, I expected more of a sentimentality towards the ship.
It's more that we're sentimental about each other, I think, than the actual ship.
That's totally fair.
Yeah,
there's
but I
nothing
get
wrong about that. It wasn't what I expected. That's interesting. What about Annie?
Annie dutifully packs up all of her belongings that she can manage. Clears out as much as she can. I think she would probably do a lap of the ship before going. Especially now having her memories back. It's a little bit different from her, for her from everybody else, because obviously she knows more about what happened before the memory wipe. But yeah, I don't think it's sentimental to her because of any long-term time that she spent on it, but more so like the past 6, 7, 8 months that they've been there, because after the wipe was when they really started acting like a unit. So anything that is important to her or that she remembers the most fondly would have happened then. So yeah, I think she takes a lap of everything and pokes her head into each room, make sure that anything that's been left over is not something that she wants to take. She just like snags things here and there before she leaves. Yeah.
Okay. And what about Captain?
Captain would fold up her clothing, and then get a small or a medium-sized box and make sure her plants were all upright in it, and that's it.
Okay. Seth has essentially pieced together a tool set over the course of his stay on the ship. Some hand-me-downs from Seattle and other tools that he's acquired along the way. And so he's basically just spent some time going around the ship, making sure he's gathered them all up from anywhere he might have left parts and things like that. Sort of does a... he's a little more attached to the ship, I think, than most everybody else is, because this is the ship that he's learned how to do mechanics on. So he's almost a Kaylee-esque sort of talking to the ship, and like rubbing certain parts of the walls and things like that, and sort of just says bye, and then gathers up. He doesn't have a whole lot of belongings, not necessarily because he can't, but just because he's very minimalistic. So he's got like a duffel bag and his toolbox, and then puts the.
You're just gonna
crate,
have one nightlight, honey. Okay.
puts that crate that he brought from the beach day episode on a little dolly and pulls that behind him. It's still locked. So that's Seth. Liam hangs out on the bridge for a little bit, sort of looking around, sort of saying goodbye, because that's really the only part of the ship that he cares about. Packs up his stuff and he's ready to go. Daisy, on the other hand, is a bit distraught. She's very attached to the ship and has gone all through the vents and everything and gathered up all of her stuff. I think the camera probably like follows her playing some, really sort of bittersweet theme music as she goes from room to room, crawling through the vents to get to each room, of course. Peeks into the bridge, and there's like a black and white scene that plays of kinetic sand on tarps with jello shots, with everybody awkwardly not talking. Crawls to the mess hall, and similar, black and white, maybe slow motion shot of Seth and Sparky playing with mashed potatoes, building a map and making little turrets out of black olives. Yeah, I know, right? And then crawls through like the crew quarters area, and there's a slow black and white scene of Lagu freaking out over a llama and like pinning a llama head to Daisy's door. And various other hijinks that have happened.
That was actually Sparky.
Was it Sparky? Okay. That's right. Whatever happened there, that whole scene just sort of plays out again. And probably a couple of shots of Seattle, like coming out of the wall, half-dressed, and Daisy being like, oh my god, stop. And then the shuttle bay, her working on the shuttle with her dad, fixing it up and stuff. And then the last stop she makes is to the firing range, where the scene of her standing next to Sparky as the captain and Seattle were talking, and Daisy looking at Sparky and going, oh yes, bullet words. And then yeah, she heads to the door. So anything else before you get to the spot where you swap ships?
While they're still on the ship, is it? I would assume it's easy to see that Daisy's distraught, right?
Oh yeah, like she's teary-eyed, and she's obviously really saying goodbye to the ship.
Yeah. Then while they're still on the ship, before they get there, just as one last little memory of this place, Annie finally walks over to her, and without really saying anything, takes that little hair clip out of her pocket, the one with the bumblebee on it, and she takes Daisy's hand and presses it into her palm.
Aw. Yeah, she looks at it, she's like, is this for me?
No, it's for your sister. Of course it's for you.
She just laughs, and it's like that sort of like, I'm trying really hard not to cry kind of laugh kind of thing. So she gives you that kind of a laugh, and says, thank you. What's this for?
One of the stations that we stopped at a while ago. I saw it and thought you might like it, so I picked it up. Just didn't get around to giving it to you.
She just stares at it for a minute.
I mean, then of course you went and changed your entire style and made the gift a little bit of a moot point, but you know, I figured I'd still give it to you.
He says a hair clip, right?
Yeah, it's like a one of those, you know, almost like, you know, those longer, sturdier bobby pins with the charms on them.
Yeah. I've got
Yeah,
a couple
kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay. And she's wearing something that definitely it does not go with. But also, like, her outfit doesn't really go with itself a whole lot, like, on purpose. She's got, like, a very, like, punk kind of look to her with her current style. And so she just smirks and puts it in her hair anyways. It's like, I think it goes just fine.
I think Annie gives her a very brief pat on the head, ruffles her hair a little bit, and then goes back to whatever she was doing.
Awesome. Daisy looks a little happier and a little less sad, and goes and gets her frog decorated Segway, hover Segway, and loads all of her stuff up onto it. Yeah, and then at some point later, you're able to meet up with the Trash Pandas, and you're basically meeting up in a nebula. So sort of the whole, like, it messes with sensors, and you're visibly hidden in this just like thick split pea soup fog kind of cloud in the space. Yeah, the sensors have a very shortened range, but you do get a signal that they're close by, and they're ready to meet up with you and dock and do the transfer. I will forego what the ship looks like because I know we're still picking what the ship's going to look like. But whatever you choose, that's what it looks like here. And yeah, there's the docking sound as they loud metal clamp and sort of thunk as they come alongside and dock. And are you all just like at the airlock, waiting to go, or where are you at?
I think Sparky's there, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Annie is the last to arrive so that she doesn't have to be in the same place as Sparky for too long, but yes, she does go.
Awkward.
Onto the ship, from the airlock, walks an android, a 60-something looking man with a white beard, someone who looks like the spitting image of Annie, and the spitting image of Sparky, and someone that looks an awful lot like Daisy. And they walk onto the ship and they go, okay, yeah, we can work with this.
Annie does the Spider-Man meme. She like knees apart, legs slightly bent, points.
The one that looks like Annie just smirks and gives a little chuckle. It's like, yeah, so we figured since, the GPF needs to think that you're still on this ship for a while at least, why not have a little fun with it?
I think Sparky, without really making any vocal mention to it, you can clearly see that they're both embarrassed and annoyed because they really should have thought of that. Like quietly kicking themselves as they like they don't even look at the people. They're just like fucking oh god, no. Just moving stuff onto the new ship. Like, I'm not even going to address it. Let's just move past it.
Sparky 2.0 just looks at you and just sort of nods and looks down. It's like, does a hand wave and sort of holds the hand to their side of their face, like you don't see me, and walks past you into the ship. Yep, exactly.
I think under their breath, Sparky mutters like, "Can't even aim my fashion right."
But yeah, Annie 2.0, as I'm just going to call her for the moment, says, yeah, so we're going to moonlight as all of you for a while and stir up some trouble. And then we'll ditch the ship somewhere and get a lift. But this buys you some time to figure out what you're going to do. And it lets us cause some trouble that we've been wanting to do with a ship like this. When she's looking at like the architecture and everything, and she's got like a schematic of the ship's weaponry on a pad. And then last to sort of poke their head out, the doctor wanders into the airlock with a whole bunch of medical equipment and a little dolly. And someone that looks a bit like the doctor comes off of the other ship. And yeah, you are free to go on to your new ship, and the group of trash pandas effectively resumes your role on the ship and takes off with it to go cause trouble.
Oh, I'll be damned.
I feel so dumb for not thinking of that. Like unimaginably.
Yeah. Annie 2.0 even has the wardrobe and everything down too.
I feel like Annie, after doing like a Spider-Man meme, does like a little lap around the second Annie, and you can hear her like mumble under her breath like things that she thinks are close enough, but like could have changed this. Like, I don't wear stuff like that.
And essentially, like, if this was a literal TV show, this would have been all of the stunt doubles for the entire cast. Would have basically been who these people are.
Love that.
Yeah. So yeah, they take off in the ship, and you are now on your new ship. Name and appearance to be determined. But I assume you will all want to move in. Any conversations that you have while you're unloading your stuff and unpacking and making yourselves at home?
I think Sparky's quiet for the most part. Like they don't really unpack anything. They kind of just take in the new ship. And anytime they see Annie, they definitely don't make eye contact right away. Like they see Annie, they'll like quickly like, oh. And they'll just kind of, gesture to the ship or do like a nod or something. It's not as awkward as they normally are, but it's clear they're not okay with something just yet. I don't like that you rolled while I was doing that.
That's fine.
I also don't. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's Daisy.
Yeah. So I just wanted to see how quickly Daisy was able to get ahead of everybody else. So obviously way faster than everybody. As soon as you're like on the ship and the other one's taken off, she just yells out, "I call the biggest room," and beelines to the crew quarters to pick out her room.
It's really good that you said room, because I did actually think of one thing I would like this new ship to have.
What's that?
Or rather, a lack of something.
What's that?
Well, it's a security risk to have vents that could fit people into them. So I thought, why not have those not be functional as people transport? Because Rip could use them. That's the reason.
Of course. Nobody
Yes.
else. Fine. She'll find other ways to sneak around the ship.
Exactly. She can get inventive. Use that big brain.
That is such a parrot line.
It so is.
You do this thing that annoys me, so I'm going to remove your ability to do that. But that's not fair, but you get to use your big brain.
And then I'm going to get annoyed when you do something that's even worse.
Yeah. So yeah, Daisy has picked out the biggest quarters. with like a private bath and everything.
I guess we did ask for a bigger ship, so that's only fair.
Yeah.
Take all that square footage, you gotta combine it somehow.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just rolling for that, but I didn't want to interrupt your conversation.
No, yeah, it's basically just I don't think Sparky would reach out until everyone's kind of settled to talk with Annie. They would eventually meet up with Annie, but during the whole like move-in process, get everything sorted, plug the cryos in, I think they would tactfully avoid Annie. That's the best way I can put that.
Yeah, Annie doesn't go out of her way to like ditch you or anything like that. She's not overly rude anytime you address her or say hello. You know, she always returns your greetings and things like that. But there's no like extra joking or tease Sparky or anything that they used to do, like passing each other in the halls or whatever like that. So yeah, it's more the way you would talk to a coworker that you're not friends with outside of work kind of deal.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And one of those coworkers that you don't like partner in crime with either. Just like a very strictly, they're in the next cubicle and you ask them to borrow your stapler every now and then kind of deal. So that's the way she is for now. I'm sure she'll lighten up eventually, but she's not intentionally rude or anything like that. I will say though, she picks a room in the quarters that is close enough to Liam, but not too close that he's like, God, my big sister's encroaching on my space.
That's very thoughtful of Annie.
She wants to tick him off. She wants to have access to him anytime she like wakes up at 3 a.m. and wants to go stand in his doorway like a gremlin and stay there until he gets the Jesus scared out of him. But not too close that he feels like he has no privacy, you know?
I see. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like my brain is in like two places at once and neither of them make sense.
Just remember that goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
If you are close to Liam, Liam is also close to you.
You both look down the hall and there's just like two chicken eyes staring at you.
That being said though, Raven, for all intents and purposes, Annie is Liam's mom. So it might suck sometimes, but she loves that little fucker. So at the end of the day, that's all right.
That's fair. What about Captain?
Captain isn't used to how much space there is on the ship. And, well, Daisy took the one probably intended for the captain.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really think of herself as a person per se. So she keeps just looking in closets.
I'm reminded of the episode of Futurama where Fry and Bender move into this big apartment and Bender's just like, it just doesn't seem cozy, and then opens up a closet like, perfect.
Yeah. And so she like puts her charger base in the closet. And then like sets her plants up kind of around, like it's in a room, but she just puts the plants in the room and then puts herself in the closet.
Oh my
She doesn't really know what to do with herself.
To be fair, as long as she's happy.
Yeah. She's fine.
Alright. Seth picks out a room next to Liam's, of course. And I think Liam probably heads to the bridge to check out what the navigation and piloting setup is. Seth heads to the engine room to see what there is to work with there. I'm assuming that's probably the first place Seattle's going to go to. Yeah, that just leaves the doctor, who goes to the ship's infirmary. Starts very methodically unpacking some things out of the case. And then we'll end the session as the camera just watches the doctor do that, and then they turn around with a little bit of a smirk on their face. And that's where we'll end the session.
Hey, the fuck?
Ma'am?
Yeah?
This ain't a Denny's?
It's a Wendy's.
This is a Wendy's drive-through.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you don't have the right parking permit, so I'm gonna need you to back that shit right out of here.
I love that I could just say someone has a smirk on their face.
Yeah,
That's
someone that we
reaction.
never see.
Also, I don't trust the doctor as far as I can throw him. So, like,
Right? Like,
get out of here with that bullshit.
We just got onto a new ship. Oh, the doctor's smirking. It's explicitly mentioned to the camera. It's probably fine. Have you watched this show? Like,
I will
Oh,
shit
God.
an entire living goose before I trust one of your verbal cues, Raven.
Fair. Oh. But yeah. I don't know if that was a Galaxy Quest reference, but if it was, I appreciate it. Have you ever watched the show?
no, it was legitimately like, have you been here for the
Okay.
last 46 episodes?
Yeah.
Because we
Oh.
sure haven't been.
But yeah, that happens. So we're gonna wrap up here. Let everybody say what their favorite part was, where we can find them next, anything they'd like to share or plug, and then we'll go on a raid. So we'll go reverse order from how we started. So Goody, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Is there anything you want to share or plug?
I liked the memory montage at the end of the ship. I like how we overlooked all the awful trauma bonding we had with the ship. Like the accidental blood oath we made on the ship because there was literally blood. But just how delightfully bad we are at this. Just wow. But no, I don't really have anything to plug. I will be here next week with my same level of input. Maybe.
Alright. Next we would, as I mentioned, we would normally have Cad Chaos here. Go give them a follow on Twitter, because they're awesome. And hopefully we'll have Seattle back next week. V, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Is there anything you want to share or plug?
My favorite part is that it took us a full hour and 23 minutes and some odd seconds to come up with some sort of coherent plan. And even after that, it wasn't entirely coherent. We got a first step, which is always great. Put your best foot forward. We did something today. But other than that, this is one of the most embarrassing episodes and probably simultaneously the funniest that we've dealt with since starting this. And I loved every minute of it. It was absolutely such a laugh. Yeah, everything else was just gravy, I think. It was a really fun episode. I liked it. Even though, we did step one, but all in all, it was still really fun. And listen, some episodes we pack so much into them. Every now and then we deserve a melted brain episode too. So
Yeah, you can have a melted brain episode as a treat.
there you go. I feel like we can all decompress with the next beach episode and it'll be okay. As for where you can find me next, I will be here on Wednesday for another episode of Exodus. We're finally getting to the end of that, and Bambi's gone batshit crazy and off the rails, and I don't know how it's gonna go. So that's gonna be fun. Tune in on Wednesday for that. And then
It's gonna be
Thursday
great.
for, Thursday for, God, what do we play? Star Wars.
A Star Wars Elite Beskar.
Yeah, today is one of those days. You can also find me online. I am an artist. If you'd like to check out my work, I have an art Twitter at Pepero Draws. It's Pepero like the candy, and my name's there below my name card for spelling. A lot of original characters, some anime stuff every now and then. But yeah, that's me.
All right. And then Jay, same questions.
Same things that everyone's mentioned, but I will say the thing that I really liked, because I was so annoyed I didn't think of it, was the body doubles. Like seeing all of these like 2.0 versions of us come on the ship as we're transferring was, I think, perfect in universe, and also maddening from a player's perspective because we spent, like Vanessa said, I mean, over an hour and a half, because we were on break discussing it too, and then we spent like another 20 minutes or so after break doing it, so like closer to 2 hours, I think, in total of us just not getting anything, and then the NPCs coming in and like, hey, guess what, it's free real estate, like just totally blowing us out of the water with that. Was really good. But I love the whole thing. I mean, personally, we talked about this on break, but I love having to struggle through the mud to get to a solution, because it makes for way more entertaining, gameplay, and it'll always stick in my memory more. So,
Awesome.
yeah, you can find me next on Standing Stones on Tuesday, which will be 6 Mountain Time. We finally got out of town. Some of us almost died, almost like right away as soon as we got out, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Awesome. My favorite part, it was entertaining watching you all try to figure out what's the solution, and I'm like sitting here like there's like a 2-step solution, and you're building the Rube
Goldberg, yeah.
Complicated machine. That was fun. But then also like getting to drop the like, oh yeah, Alice is actually the one that kind of introduced Lily to the group. It wasn't just like maybe a random encounter. Also like Daisy being the one that's like sad about leaving the ship and doing the whole montage. Everybody's like, I'm good. We can just throw a Molotov behind us as we leave, maybe. Just burn it down. That was funny. But I enjoyed the whole episode as well. I'm excited to see what you do with the new ship. And of course, I enjoyed all of your reactions to that last little scene. It's always fun. Where you can find me next is also Standing Stones on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, where I'll be playing Cauliflower, or Callie, who's not very bright, but she really likes to fight things, and she cares a lot about her friends, and she has a tail, and now she can fly. So there's that. Other things to share or plug are our sponsors, which I'm putting into chat, one of them being Fundamental RPG. It's the system that we use for this game. It's a simple D20 system. You can use it to run anything from high fantasy to sci-fi, and everything in between. Standing Stones runs on it as well. It is high fantasy and this is sci-fi, so literally we're already doing it on the channel. You can pick up your copy on Amazon, or if you prefer the digital version, you can get that at coffee.com/raven, like it says in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And then also at that same site, you can find Intrepid gear, which is adventuring gear for real life, apparel, drinkware, and accessories with a tabletop theme to them. Definitely go check that out. And then finally, Die Hard Dice. They recently sent me this really cool Spellbinder Fey Queen set. It is my very favorite set of dice, and I have a lot of dice, so that's saying something. You can pick up your own set at dieharddice.com, and if you use the code BlackFeatherJune, all one word, capital B, capital J, you can get 10% off of your order for your entire order. And then finally, if you want to catch up on this show or others on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.fantasy.network. Just go to Stream Library and then click on Black Feather Guild. And then we're going to go on a raid, as I said. Raid cry is should I call her Lily.exe, maybe girlfriend.tmp. We're going to go raid Nerdsmith. Oh, maybe not. I think they might be offline. Scratch that. We're going to go raid Polished instead. So we're going to raid Polished Cryptid, who is awesome. Give her a follow if you're not doing so already. Looks like she's playing some D&D. So say hello, throw that raid cry into chat as you go. And then I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.